Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Frankie's Open Mic on Frankie's Podcast Network. I'm Haley Overseth, your host. I'm here with my co-host, Alicia Maximo of
Hello,
Benora AI.
everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Today, we are joined by Siddhant Khattri, and he is from all the way from Mumbai, and we're so excited to talk with you about your Vedica Art Studios and Gallery. Hello, Siddhant. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
First of all, Haley and Alicia, thank you for having me on your podcast. And it is lovely to interact with you. Even before the podcast, it was especially the Holy Festival that we were talking about. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing
We're
well.
doing great. We're so happy to be here. I'm excited to learn about your Vedica Art Studios. So, for those who are watching who are not familiar, not initiated in what you do, tell us a little bit about your art galleries and your shows and what you were working on.
Well, Vedica Art Studios and Gallery is actually it's based in Mumbai, but we are representing artists from all over the world right now, and we are representing artists from more than 10 countries, and the structure that we follow, the theme that we follow is about the contemporary cosmopolitan structure in the art world. So it's about interconnecting people. It's about uniting people through art, and it's about dissolving the global boundaries, which is very much needed right now.
I
Great.
agree. That is so up our alley. Alicia is all about being global when it comes to just about everything, right?
Yes, I love the approach as far as your gallery cultivates the immersive experience, featuring different artists across the globe. But I was going to ask you, as far as Mumbai and the different artists that you're featuring in your gallery, is it more the Mumbai experience, or is it more of like a global experience in the gallery?
Well, first of all, when it comes to the shows that we do or the art fairs that we participate in, we
Hmm.
usually take up the subjects that are global topics. Like, for
Hmm.
example, we are going to participate in Noise Media Art Fair in Istanbul this year, and
Hmm.
it's about
Cool.
creative technology. And similarly, what we do is like when we are creating an immersive experience in a show, so we take up the topics and we take up the theme, which is like a more global theme, very accepting for all the people. And that's basically in line with the theme of India in general, that's about unity and diversity. So the selection is not particularly based out of the fact that, like it has to be Mumbai based or the culture needs to be restricted in that way.
Hmm.
I think that personally, like my personality is something more open-minded. We are like more open-minded people,
Hmm.
and this is something about appreciating different cultures and
Of course.
appreciating different forms of art. So
Hmm.
when we are participating, it can be public art, it can be like installation works, it can be paintings, or but these are different forms of language
Right.
that we are expressing the same thing, but these are
Mhm.
just like said in different ways.
Yes, of course. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
And I love how you give everyone that space to showcase their work.
It's
I like to,
more about, yeah, yeah, please.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, it's more about like giving that complete freedom to the artist to
Mhm.
express themselves.
Of
Like
course.
we did a show recently in the month of February that was unveiling, and it was about reinterpreting narcissism and becoming more authentic.
Mm.
And so Fina Ferrara from Mexico and Barbara Rachko, one of the established artists, and Susan Fraser Hughes, again very established artist from US and Canada, the North American continent united in Mumbai. So it was about a fusion with the West and the East, and that's what it was. And these were like three women artists. So what we are doing is it's like a experience. It's an experiential thing when it comes to Fina Ferrara. She is a performance artist, and she was connecting the artworks by
Mm.
Susan Fraser Hughes and Barbara Rachko. So these are some of the aspects that we take into consideration, and it goes like a free flow in terms of conversations before the theme is decided. And it is decided completely on the basis of the full expression of the creativity that these artists are bringing. So yeah.
Wow. It's amazing.
I really love that you incorporate so many different forms of art. Like, myself, I would have never thought of like an art gallery, an art exhibition as having a performance artist in there doing performance art to connect all the different art pieces. Like, and I think it's brilliant that you incorporate multiple artists in that way, where you could give artists new ways to collaborate with each other across different kinds of art mediums, right? I really do think that that's amazing. Can you maybe talk a little bit about sort of your journey? How did you come to start doing this art gallery, and how did you sort of come up with this new open way of incorporating art in different forms?
Well, it's a combination of factors in this case, especially when it comes to like I am an artist myself, and it's like at the same time like I have a strategy oriented career in like I did my management from Indian School of Business, and then after that I was working with Budweiser also. So I'm bringing like a combination of the science part of things, like the management part of things, and then combining it because I understand what artists are thinking, like how artists feel. So I try to like combine both of things, like fuse both the things, and that's what my job is like as a gallery owner. Additionally, I would like to thank Pete in this case because he was very insistent when it came to like opening a gallery or starting the advisory services for the artist to navigate in the art world. Given that like for the past 3-4 years he was very insistent, and we became very good friends. So he was like, you need to bring this management style, because there are many artists who doesn't know how to navigate, how to build their career from a long term perspective. So I think like I'm blessed with a lot of good people around me, and especially the team members who are completely dedicated that way. And yeah, like Pete Mamberg is responsible for connecting with people, and he does it in a very awesome way. So yeah,
He
Nice.
does, and it's so good to have good people around you to support what you're doing, right? I really do
definitely.
love the it's interesting to me that you've sort of like in an energetic way blended the analytical side, the business side, and that empathetic, creative, emotional side, like you're saying. Maybe can you talk a little bit more about that again in your kind of journey, and how does that really support what you're doing and the success that you've seen in your gallery?
Well, when you see it from the outside, the art world looks very abstract. But if you go a little bit deeper and try to understand the concepts that are there in the industry, it's already very much structured. It's not something that I am inventing. It's more like I'm discovering. So as such, there is no there is an innovative style of bringing frameworks, for example, or bringing like a dashboard thought process. Like maybe you want to have let's say a number of shows, you write down that on a Microsoft Excel, or you write down like what kind of sales do you want, or you want like a different kind of representation. So this goal oriented and based on your vision as an artist and a mission as an artist is something that we consider before signing up the artist at the same time. Additionally, what I would say is that like my experience of combining both the things and additionally connecting with people has been because of my upbringing, in which case like I used to interact with a lot of people coming from Europe and like from UK, given that like our family business was more about exporting and some products like equestrian products. So uh, what happened was like in my childhood, a lot of people came from outside India, and they became like good friends. So I was able to understand different cultures since the beginning, and it became easier for us to take the best out of those cultures and integrate with our traditions and with our culture. So this is what makes me it's easier for me to connect with people coming from different backgrounds, and that is about the art world. What I see is like the information in the art world is very restricted to the people who are belonging to the art world, even though the technology has is advanced now. And like we have podcasts, and we have of course like the blogs, and there are so many things that can be easily available in terms of information. But with the art world, the thing is that it is very difficult to understand what is good art or what is bad art, or like what is a collectible object, or how it becomes like a decorative object. So, and how you are approaching, what is the professional method of approaching. This lies with the people who are belonging to the art world, or they have experience of maybe running a gallery, or maybe running a, being a collector, what their thought process is. So I am like closely involved in all sorts of with all sorts of stakeholders, especially the university people. And like, like we have Louisa and Doron from Arts University Plymouth, and they are very supportive to us. So these are some of the aspects that we understand, like how to make art is one aspect of it, but how to channelize your talent in a longer run, that requires the management style. What I say to people, like especially the artist, is that think of yourself as an entrepreneur
Mhm.
before approaching the, like have a business plan. It's not to hamper your, like make it like a hurdle for your creativity, but it is to channelize your creativity in a directed manner. So this is something that we offer. Yeah.
Same.
I really love that. I mean, Alicia and I, as being entrepreneurial minded ourselves, we really appreciate that. Like, I'm a creative person, but also very interested in entrepreneurship, and we're exploring a lot of different things. But
Yeah.
I do appreciate that you understand that sometimes there's a, and Alicia knows this from working with me, like creative minded people, we have the capacity for that business element, but it's not where our heart's at, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of
Right.
like why we struggle with it a little bit and need some assistance. So
Yeah.
I really think it is brilliant that you sort of offer that kind of a space for artists to kind of come in and not have that expertise, not have that understanding, and help foster them to be able to develop a career from, because we all got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And at the same time, all the artists in the world, they started from somewhere. So it was like a 0 points written in your resume. But like so it's not like a chicken and egg situation. Many people think like that, but it is more about, having an action oriented method. I remember I was having this conversation with Barbara Rajko from US. She has a career in the art world that spans for 39 years now, and she is a very established artist. We are like primarily representative of Barbara. The thing is that she told that there was a question that we asked, that how to find your niche as an artist in the like in the art world. And it was not about the process. What she recommended was that make it more like a practice and create as many paintings as possible, because that is going to describe what's your method. So
Mhm.
it's like a learning process also simultaneously happening with the implementation. And that is what, like, many artists offer such kind of recommendations. Yeah.
Hmm. I was going to say it has a lot. It goes really hand in hand with the creative mindset, but also with the entrepreneur mindset, where when you're looking at the creative side and the business aspect, the client or the creative art that you're putting out there kind of builds towards that momentum of either starting that business or the title of that business, and then opening up your own gallery and pursuing your artwork. So I like the way that the person that you just described, where she is really well experienced, but it took her from start to finish to actually begin and create the art and find her groove with her creative element. So it's very interesting to me. I was going to ask a quick question, if that's okay, Haley.
Yeah.
You're speaking something about technology. I'm in AI, of course, and I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
different 3D printers and people using now technology in fashion and using fashion as an art as well. Do you see that in your experience, where artists are now using AI or 3D printing or any type of technology to create different type of art fixtures or even different paintings?
That's a very relevant question to this, especially the age that we are living in.
Mm,
Given that, like, I'm seeing a lot of artists using AI, and that has a lot of potential in itself.
mhm,
But if you, let's say, ask me that AI is going to replace, artists, or become, so in the art world, it is more about the human error. that's valued, and it's the human element that is added. It's the
Right.
it's not something that needs to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about we are perfectly imperfect. So this is
Mm-hmm.
where the combination with AI, a lot of things will become easier when it comes to having your own imagination reshaped, and like talking to AI, you can create your own theme and understand like your own ways of doing work, especially as an artist. And that's gonna assist the artist in creating more in making it more easier for it will make it easier for the artist to get it implemented.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, AI is gonna take like a big chunk in the next few years, but it's not gonna become like a primary model of
Right.
working for
I
the artist.
agree. Yes,
Yeah.
that's good.
Well, and I do appreciate that you can have that conversation about technology and art. And like, I love that you brought up fashion and like the 3D printing, because I've seen some of that too, like the 3D printed shoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that are, you look at AI and like, yes, there's AI generated content or images, but really when you're looking at technology, it's how can you really leverage what we have technologically speaking to find new ways to create art with that. And like, I love the idea of like the 3D printed shoes or fashion and things like that. Can you maybe talk a little bit about anything that you've been seeing or been maybe trying to get into your art spaces that is a really sort of a good blend, I guess I would say, of like human creativity, taking technology and utilizing it in an innovative way to create art and not just the kind of like generative AI stuff? Like, what have you been seeing that you're kind of maybe excited about?
So just to mention this, currently we are doing an online exclusive solo show of Yoas Nebe, who is from Germany, and he is using AI. So you can see a few works. Like if anybody wants to see a few works, they can go to the Artsy page of our page, like the gallery page, and have a view of some of the video art that he has created. So these are some of the aspects in which case I would say that we are very much excited to showcase the artists who are more innovative in nature. And at the same time, just to mention this, like as I mentioned about the Noise Media Art Fair, we participated in the month of September in Vienna in 2024. uh, uh, like it was again about the creative technology when it comes to Noise Media Art Fair. And that was like our initial thought process that let us try to blend both the things, especially the creative technology aspects. Whether it be 3D printing, it can become one of the medium for our artist. But if you ask us like how and what kind of integration is required, I would say it can become like a 20% element of the total you know uh, uh, of the artwork overall. But like 80% has to be the artist himself or herself in that
Mm-hmm.
fashion. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, and again, I appreciate that you're willing to have that conversation because I know it can be, especially in the art world, integrating technology and AI and stuff can be especially controversial, right? So I do appreciate your take on that and your perspective on that.
And
I,
by the way, just to mention this, there are
yes.
many galleries that are now having exhibitions or solo shows. Like recently, I remember a few months ago, Connect Gallery in Europe was having this show uh, for, I don't remember the name of the artist, but it was about the AI based art. He uses AI to create the artworks. And there are some of the art fairs that are now going to have that theme going forward. So the art world is very happy to integrate that as one of the steps in the you know
That is, I do appreciate, again, I love it that you're willing to integrate some of those different aspects and explore those things and also maintain that human element. I did want to talk a little bit about if we can kind of maybe shift just a bit. Some of the exhibitions you have are maybe a little bit more on because you have the exhibition. Remind me what the titles were.
yeah.
Um, but the when you have something that's a bit more maybe provocative or something that is a bit more human body focused, when you have those kinds of that sort of controversy, if as it were, how do you handle curating like gallery exhibitions or that kind of artwork, that artwork that can sometimes maybe be a little bit more maybe sensitive, I guess I would say, kind of in today's world? Or maybe you can talk to us a little bit about that.
Uh, I think it has been the case in the history, like more than 300 years. If you see, there are many artists who have gone to that extent that they are cushioning the edges of the, representation, and that helps in creating more engagement with the people. So, if you remember that recently, this banana and a tape, the comedian artwork, which was auctioned by Sotheby's for more than $6 million approximately, it again raises the question that what is art, and that actually can be one alternative interpretation. That is my interpretation, is that you need to start thinking about like how much engagement that artwork is creating. So similarly, whether it be painting or let's say performance art, like something that we are going to do, not that provocative, but we'll try not to be provocative. But in Paris, we are going to do this group show in the month of June. Again, Barbara, Fina, and Susan will be there, but Rajul Shah from Singapore will be joining us. She's a Singapore-based artist. So it will be like a group show. Which will focus majorly on the fact that we are going to question a little bit of things in terms of the performance given by Fina there. So it's too early to release the theme for now. It's like in an ideation stage, and we are discussing like how and what to proceed with. But it always increases the chances of you getting negative feedback sometimes, or as an artist also, many people might not like it, or many people might not find it relevant to their culture, or maybe like it can be threatening, or people become more defensive. But that tells about the viewer more than the artist or the artwork itself. So it's about them questioning themselves rather than questioning the art, because if it is provocative and something that you're not open to, maybe is a chance. It's like the crisis is the best form of opportunity that you get. It's the same way, something that you find as a viewer provocative, we need to question that within ourselves, that what as a viewer we are finding, what element of that we are finding more provocative, which will tell us, which will make us as a viewer more aware about our self. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Haley and I are all about pushing the envelope and all things, so we have that in common.
I do appreciate the perspective again, though, that it is an opportunity for you when you're viewing art. If something that you see in that art elicits an emotion, even if that's like an upset or a disgust, well, that's an opportunity to get to know yourself better. Why am I triggered to feel that way about what I'm seeing? And I do love that sort of flipping that paradigm to the viewer being, when you're viewing that art, you're also viewing yourself and viewing the things that that art makes you feel, or that that art triggers in you. And now that's an opportunity for some self-reflection as well as enjoying some beautiful art. Art therapy is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
In a way, it is also so. There is a good chance that many of the artworks that you're going to see either will make you feel disgusting, or will make you feel soothing. But it's the same kind of, in a way, the intensity of the emotion is the same. So it's the same coterie of emotions that you're going to feel, and it's the best way to engage with the artwork is to be neutral towards and not judge your own emotions as a viewer, or as a collector, or as a gallery owner. See things neutrally, I would say, when it comes to any art admirer or any kind of maybe the artist who is viewing the works. It is not about the real competition in the art world, that my art is better than somebody else's artwork, or maybe I'm finding it more threatening. It shouldn't be this way. But it tells a lot about the inner self, which is to be explored. And one of the best ways to engage more with that kind of artwork, which is making you feel maybe threatened or maybe, disgusting. So do you like to be sad or do you like to be happy? Maybe that artwork is going to tell you eventually, and that grows in you. So let it grow and not be so judgmental about that, or do not resist that feeling either as a collector or as a viewer of the artwork.
Mhm.
I mean, there's such a lot of spiritual wisdom in there. Don't resist
Yeah.
the feeling. Just feel them, allow it to come up, and find out more about yourself from that, and see what other perspectives there are that you could switch about yourself that might change how you perceive the art as well. I really do love that. That is very cool. Sorry, Alicia, I know you had a thought, and it seemed like there was a question you wanted to jump in with.
Oh no, I was just really taking in what you were saying about taking these emotions and accepting these emotions, and then looking at yourself and looking at the art as far as a therapy type of format. Because as humans, we all have our own perceptions or perspective of different things, but when you're looking at a creative type of artwork, it's a different feel, it's a different vibe, and that's very inspiring. I always been interested in art, and then now you're opening up the sector for international art fairs and on different virtual platforms. So I think it's really amazing what you're doing and pushing the envelope, like I was saying, where we're not intentionally trying to make people uncomfortable, but it's to open up a conversation. It's to open up, getting to know people a little bit better and their opinions. They're trying to change their opinions or have them think a different way about art or about life. So that's what I just wanted to add. And I think what you're doing is amazing, and definitely keep doing it and pushing the envelope, because we have to, right? We gotta put ourselves out there. We have to have that conversation, make people comfortable to have a different conversation.
Alicia, one
I
of the best
um,
art is considered to be something that creates a conflict within you, or maybe uh, raises questions that are on a
Mhm.
shallow level, not visible to you.
Mhm.
So
mhm.
artists who are doing that job, who are being bold enough to create such kind of art, is something that I think should be promoted more and more.
Mhm. Yes.
I agree. And I kind of want to go back a little bit to something that you talked about before when it comes to like, language diversity and diversity of cultures that you personally had growing up that kind of gave you the ability to interact and accept and kind of be in different spaces the way that you are with Vedica Art Studios and the artists you have around the world. This idea of kind of, self-reflection and starting these conversations, there's really an element of communication that I think maybe doesn't get explored enough when it comes to like, yes, you talk about art as an expression of the artist, but there's an expression of communication that can start to happen among people when you're viewing that art. And art in and of itself can kind of become something that transcends physical language, words language, right? And sort of push barriers and remove barriers to some degree. Can you maybe talk a little bit about how you've sort of seen that or experienced that, since you do a lot of different work around the world and have so many different exposures to different cultures and different backgrounds?
Well, I would say that it's pretty much of a combination of things that go around, and it's about being more observant. If you are observing things keenly and not judging things, just look at the thing the way it is, and try to and that's gonna be the same thing when it comes to your introspection process, whether it be as an artist or as a viewer, or be it a collector. I would also say, like, there is it's not only the art is not only limited to the artist. There is an art of collecting also, and it depends on your process. It depends on how you reflect within you, and like how you start reflecting those things, manifesting those things in the form of artworks, whether it be collection or whether it be creating art for that matter. So in my view, like, my spiritual process has been to understand, like, the first question is to ask, like, who am I? If you're defining yourself in maybe contradicting ways, sometimes we need to embrace all the contradictions that are there, because we are humans, so it's gonna create a lot of contradictions. And if you are just gonna let's say, any art that is only beautiful, or any art that is only showing the talent of the artwork, of the artist, is not going to be considered more engaging in terms of that. So it's the same thing within you as a human also. You need to process most of the contradictions that are going to be there, or maybe the conflicts. So I always say that you have to embrace the vulnerabilities with the strength that you are having, which is it's like it's more like a management process. If you translate it into a management language, it is more about, like, maybe as a company you are doing, like, you are creating something, and that may have some side effects, may have some limitations, but those limitations need to be accepted with the strengths that you are bringing. So what kind of impact you are going to have will be decided on the basis of how many no you say uh, in the whole process. And it's going to be difficult. Like, I had to say no to, let's say, my corporate job. I had to say no to some of the things that I could have done. So it's a strong no, because there is a strong compulsion also of the society. So given all of that, I think it's about creating a very strong yes, but understanding that in the whole process you might not experience certain things that you could have experienced. It's not about doing everything in life, it's about doing one thing, and that too every day.
Hmm.
I
I
think
do
that's
love
my
that.
thought process. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love that. It's something that I'm not sure who the quote was from, but something to the effect of sometimes the doors you close are as important as the doors you open, right?
Yeah.
So it does matter where you put your energy. It does matter the things that you say no to as much as it matters the things that you say yes to, right? Because when you remove one opportunity or one like place where you're putting your energy, that's more energy you can utilize elsewhere, and that thing becomes, bigger. That thing grows exponentially. So when you're looking at that in terms of, again, because I'm fascinated by your ability to sort of jump into the different mindsets, right? The business
Yeah.
mindset, the artist mindset, and Alicia and I, because we kind of work in tandem, like we've got a really great flow between those kinds of like that analytical and the ideas and the creative, and then the like implementation, the business, the like, how do you get it done? So when you're looking at assisting, I would say maybe someone who is just getting into, like someone who's just starting with their art, someone who's got, art that they want to share, but they really have no idea where to start with it. How would you, from a position of like you said, kind of that entrepreneurial mindset, like what are some of the things that you would kind of start people off with, or guide those sort of artists? So like people coming to you, contacting you and wanting to be a part of your gallery or show their art. What are some of the things that you would tell those brand new artists or those people just trying to get their foot in the door?
Well, first of all, we do look for people who are high on willingness to, or courageous to begin with. Additionally, we are aware of the reality when it comes to, being an artist, and how it's very tough to be an artist in the era that we are living in. But understanding all that as a process, people who have made it are the people who started somewhere. So you need to start doing things randomly. It's a saying, probably given by, there's a management, probably like a saying that, like, boil the ocean strategy. It's called, boil the ocean is like when you do not know where the salt is, you boil the whole ocean.
Hmm.
That
I
means,
love
like,
that. When you don't know where to
Right?
start, you boil the whole ocean. Fabulous. That's right on board for me. I love that.
Yes.
so as an artist, when you're starting off, let's say you do not know your theme, or let's say you do not know what's your niche is, or like what kind of specific impact you want to have. It's gonna be about boiling the whole ocean, which is like whatever you can make, however you can plan to make it, whenever you get the time to make it, just start making it. And whether it be like, let's say somebody is doing a job, or like they get 2 or 3 hours in a day, try building your portfolio of the artworks. It's not about, like, on the first day things will happen. Obviously it shouldn't happen, because a quick success is going to make sure that it is going to not last for more than a few days. So you have to earn that success so that you can maintain that success eventually. So in my view, what we look for when we are getting in touch with any artist, and this is majorly Pete Mamberg, or any of our
Mhm.
artists are also recommending someone, for example. So it's we look for strong work ethic. We look for people who are the artists who are gonna collaborate very easily and not be creating boundaries in terms of that why do you want me to showcase with this and this artist. It shouldn't be like that. It is a teamwork. And
Mhm.
something that we appreciate is that people who are very supportive, then beyond that, they should bring something like a specific knowledge. They should bring something like a unique thing about them. It can be their culture being being highly historically relevant, or maybe you are questioning, or you are questioning the being bold about themselves. So like maybe you are appreciating someone else's culture in your artworks. It's about being open minded as well. So anything that is unique, but it has to be strongly grounded in work ethic, because that is going to ensure that there is a long term survival as an artist. And you're going to make sure that you have to make things right for yourself. It's like about when artists are like, once I get something out of my artwork, I'm going to choose to be a full time artist. It doesn't work like that. You are basically asking the society to gift you or the success before you even start. And it's never going to happen. Any kind of, you being an entrepreneur and Alicia being an entrepreneur, you must know, like already you might be knowing this aspect of things, that when it is about creating a product, so you first focus on creating whatever is possible for your the theme that you have decided on, or the innovation that you want to bring in the society. Maybe the society will not gift you with the success or the revenue, or for that matter, with not all the customers will be bombarded towards you. But as an entrepreneur, you keep on working every day, and it is about ensuring that it's nobody else's job to make sure that you are gonna be an artist full time, probably. So and it's not necessary to be an artist full time, but it is necessary to spend like some time like consistently every day. Maybe you are creating a series, like something that Susan does, and she keeps on reflecting in she has a very strong introspection process, and that's very much visible in the series that she creates. So and that's very much visible in her personality also, which is about an evolutionary process of her works, and she is into charcoal works. So what I suggest is, like, for anyone, for any artist who is now trying to begin their career, it's important to think it like a career, not as a uh, not as a one time activity, or expect things to happen in the beginning only, because you don't know what you are as an artist, what kind of impact do you want to have as an artist. And it's
Right.
important to understand that once you have made the art, it belongs to the society, it belongs to the universe. So how people are going to engage with it, is it worth engaging? So these are some tough questions, and it can only be answered like as Barbara says, that it can only be answered when you keep on practicing it. So it
Right.
is about mentioning and creating that artwork like every day, and trying to understand that what is my strength in this, and let me bring up those aspects. Maybe I do not want to explore something, but it is like sort of pestering me for a long period of time, so let me do that as well. Maybe there are certain things that you haven't been exposed to, because of which your practice is being you are creating like uh, a, a hurdle for yourself as an artist. Additionally, what I would suggest is that go to art fairs and go to the gallery openings, and try to connect with the artists that are already represented by those galleries, or maybe try to connect with the people who are visiting the art fairs, see the artworks that are already exhibited. From a non-judgmental perspective, just try to understand the different forms of art. Maybe you're going to get inspired by some public art, for that matter, and you can implement it in your paintings. We do not know until unless we are exposed to such kind of things. So one thing that I used to do was, rather than spending my time on Netflix, it was
Mhm.
about the weekend going to the art fairs, or maybe connecting with the gallery, sitting with people there, having a conversation, trying to understand that what is their what are their challenges, what are the challenges of an artist, and like trying to connect with the artist and understanding their background. So this is an important process as an artist. You cannot escape that. Maybe
Right.
you like it or you do not like it, it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
you don't need to like the process. This is something that Tim Grover says, who used to be the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, that you don't need to like the process. You need to like to win, and that's what matters. So ultimately, if you have your goals set and you're clear about them, that this is what I want as an artist, then start working on the process. Whatever is required, ask yourself as an artist that whatever is required, I'm going to do that.
Mhm.
And that's a question that needs to be asked every day, until the time it becomes your nature.
Of course, yes. Very, very, very interesting. I love that type of mindset. Do you find, with the engagement with the art, do you find it strikes a certain type of emotion? Because I find from the business perspective and from the art perspective, when you're putting your work out there or putting your type of content out there, you're striking an emotion within your audience or your target audience. So do you see that happening in your art world where you go to a gallery and you see people look at a piece of art either and it's striking an emotion of happiness, sadness, or it makes them angry or makes them feel uncomfortable. I would love to hear your opinion about that.
Uh, yes, in a way, but I would say that I'm much more comfortable experiencing all sorts of. So, according to
Mm-hmm.
me, this is my internal understanding, that
Mm-hmm.
happiness shouldn't be your metric to live your life. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
successful way of living. It's about experiencing whatever the society is offering you, but not as a victim, but as like a roller coaster ride, because life in general is gonna make you feel whatever is coming your way. Maybe there are some hard situations, and it's not only the artworks itself. There is an emotional connection, especially between the artist and the artworks that they are making. Like for example, we have an artist from Netherlands, and he is based in Apeldoorn, Ari Otten, and he is expressing like the raw emotion that is majorly on the side of happiness that he feels in his artworks, and it is very much visible with the artworks that he is making. So definitely that emotional connection is going to be there, but what we need to practice is that when it is exposed to the people, the viewers, and maybe there might be some negative feedback, for example, or maybe there might be some positive feedback. So don't take it on your heart. You don't need to. Whether it is a positive or a negative feedback, it doesn't matter. The whole point is that people are engaging with it. See it like
Mm-hmm.
a compliment. See it like if you go to the base level of it, if somebody is even engaging to say that, oh, I don't like this art, and like I'm so hating this art, that's a form of engagement. So you created something that for that viewer is not comfortable, and that's okay. But the point is that like you need to understand and not resist certain emotions during the process of exposing your art. That is an important element to take into consideration when you are, let's say, doing any exhibition, or maybe people are going to provide you with some stronger comments on your art. So it's okay. The whole point is to not resist that emotion, let it flow within your body as an artist, and just understand like people are gonna be the way they are. They're bringing their history with them, they're
Mm-hmm.
bringing their genetics with them. So it's gonna be if you are creating something compelling, then definitely it has to be exposed, and it will come with the warning sign of of experiencing certain uncomfortable emotions. The whole point is that if you keep on practicing that too, you become sort of, I would say, immune, but immune is not the right word. It's about embracing
Mhm.
those
And
emotions.
that,
Yeah.
being unconditional, right? And I think this is such a brilliant thing that just fits so much into the frequency Alicia and I are on, right? Whether you're looking at it as a creative expression or whether you're looking at it as like, you know, your entrepreneurial idea, your business, your baby in that way, right? And artists feel that way about their creations, right? This is mine and I love it and I want others to love it. But the unconditionality of it and not resisting that others might have different thoughts, right? That it sort of creates a stability, a balance that you can have when you're thinking whether it's your brand as an artist and then what your theme is and art and what your kind of particular flavor is, or what your brand is in business, what your particular flavor is, you know, what your audience is, like Alicia's talking about, or what's your energy, what is it that you are putting out as a personality, and not being afraid of any of the negativity that'll come because again, like you said, it's like life. There's a roller coaster. There's going to be some contrasts, some, you know, people who are going to have a different perspective. And it doesn't have to be something you take on. Like you said, don't take that onto your heart. I love that. Don't take it on what other people think because they do have their own perceptions, their filters. They're on their own path. They have their own journey. Their experience of what you're doing, whether it's your business or your art, if they don't resonate with you, then well, then that they're just not for your stuff, and that's okay. I always like to say there's room for everyone. There's an audience for everyone.
Exactly,
And
and that is an important element when it comes to like engaging with the people and understanding what is there. So these days, especially, one thing that is clearly visible in the art world is that the artworks are going around as a like during the exhibitions also, or whether it be art fairs, it is going around like a open to interpretation for the viewer. So it's about let them engage, give the freedom to the potential collector, or like give the freedom to the potential art admirer, or a art critic for that matter, to engage the way they want to engage with the uh, painting, or maybe like the artworks or any form of art. It can be good and it can be bad, and it's all fine to experience the cyclical emotions in the way it is coming to you. You can either, as an artist, you can either take it as a feedback that, okay, I'm gonna intensify so and so aspect of this artwork because it is creating more, let's say, uh, you know uh, disgust maybe, and that's about like exploring your own ways of why you feel disgusting when so and so kind of artwork is exhibited. Or maybe it is about like feeling happy with the by while seeing. Or maybe there are some artworks that are going to trigger scientists to innovate something, and this has happened like in the history. So it's about open to interpretation, and the way it has to be interpreted is the way the viewer brings their own self, and then you can understand yourself as an artist from their viewpoint. And it's gonna again about embracing the contradictions that they bring into you and your artworks, because it's a manifestation of your personality. It's a manifestation, the artwork is a manifestation of your personality as an artist, and it's gonna definitely help you refine yourself. You don't need to thank anybody, and you don't need to say anything and to in a false comment to anyone. So that's what I think, that's my idea of approaching the art world.
I love it. I do really appreciate. Again, I really think that you've got some really awesome, very open perspectives that make what you're doing very unique and very interesting and very enticing, right? And this is something, again, Alicia and I really love that global aspect of being open-minded, incorporating all of these different cultures, backgrounds, ideas, and then being very open to how you might experience those things and not judging what your experience of those things would be. I think that's just so it's refreshing to have someone with that kind of a perspective. It really is.
Yes, and I think this is the agenda that we bring. So, like, especially, like as a gallery, what we are pushing is that we shouldn't have boundaries, because there are no boundaries in the world, and that is what is clearly visible with the team of artists that we have, with the team that we have. Like everybody is working either from South Korea to US, and there are different time zones, and everybody, it's like, we uh, in the entire 24 hours, somebody is working on some of the concepts that we, like whether it be writing an article, for example, or maybe, having interviews with the recently we Doron Brits from from Arts University Plymouth. He had like a conversation with Rajul Shah, and it was about understanding her artistic practice and creating an article around, and like creating a theme around a solo show that we are planning of hers recently. So these are some of the aspects, like newer ideas need to be integrated every day, and those newer ideas are gonna be embraced only when you are open to interpretation,
Mhm.
and the way you are going to interpret it is going to be dependent on the free flow of conversation that you are having with these people, and they bring them their unique ideas. When there is a good conversation, good quality conversation will lead to more and more creativity, and definitely something that management can only start to happen when there is some creation already made. So that's where creativity is required. It's the initial step.
It's so
Amazing.
important.
Yes.
It really is. I did just so with your vision for Vedica Art Studios and Gallery, can you kind of maybe tell us what your like what's the future looking like for you? What are you excited about? What are you kind of building towards? What's your sort of dream of where this all goes to?
So this year we are having shows, and it's like currently, as I mentioned about US Nebe's solo show going on Artsy, like it's an online exclusive show. And then like in the month of April we are celebrating that as a art month, and we will have a global open studio day for the entire month of our represented artist. And then in the month of June we are going to have an exhibition in Paris, and as I mentioned earlier, with Rajul Shah and with Barbara Rajko and Fina and Susan, and there will be two more artists. We are gonna decide the like finalize the themes, and it will be visible on our website. Then in the month of September, it's about Noise Media Art Fair in Istanbul, and then we are planning to participate as of now with Art Mumbai as well, and then Tokyo Art Fair. That's going to happen in November.
Wow.
So like this is the whole itinerary for this year. But going forward, it's not going to be like a day that we are approaching in terms of that this is the day, or like next year by May we want this. There's no deadline like that. It's about achieving your goal every day as a gallery, and our process ensures that we are like connecting people all around the world, and like art is our method to do it. So that's ensured like almost every day, because there are so many activities happening within the organization that it ensures us to have conversations with different time zones. And like now my head has become like a global time zone clock,
Mm-hmm.
without even seeing what's the I don't need to Google it, like what's the time difference between, let's say,
Right.
EST. Yeah. So
It's so easy doing the conversions. I love it.
so it's like integrating space and time in a way, and that's like a everyday process that we ensure that it's happening. So whether it be Paris or whether it be any art fair, we are like among those people which ensure that we are bringing like multiple cultures in one place, and that's what people can like obviously observe, and they have provided us with this comments. They have complimented us that you are the only multicultural team that is in Vienna, for that matter, or like like we have 6 to 7 people who are so enthusiastic about artists and the artworks that they are displaying during the exhibition or the art fairs, that like they are working like 24 hours, and there is no Sunday like that, or there is no Saturday like that. So it's always like Sunday seems to be like a day when you are waiting for Monday to happen for many a time.
When you're,
So yeah,
I love that when you're waiting for Monday to happen, and it's happening at some part of the world where you've already got a team member doing something
exactly.
or other, right?
Wait.
So I love that.
Exactly. So this is our vision, and it's like implemented every day, and that's what we are going to ensure that it magnifies, it intensifies going forward.
I think that's really beautiful. It's very sort of remaining in the flow and in the moment while still seeing that there's more ahead. And that is such a, it's a balance that we as individuals and that as entrepreneurs and business people, we all have to sort of find, like, how do you ride that frequency wave, staying present in the moment and enjoying in the moment in the ways that your creative self and your artist expressive self want to, but then being able to still maintain and keep track and balance the analytical mind of the forward thinking and the looking ahead.
Right.
It is an art and a science together, right?
It is indeed. I would say, like there are some consistencies to follow in any art form. So those kind of things create a basic level of structure. It provides a platform, even for the artist to create more, and that's what we are gonna enhance more and more. It's about embracing the structure at the same time being like extremely creative based on that structure. So that's like our vision as a gallery, that we are going to ensure that more and more boundaries are dissolved, people are united, and they are united either as a viewer or as an artist or as a team member. It's like it's about connecting the world.
Yeah.
We're all about it. We're here for it. We love it. Siddhant Khattri of Vedica Art Studios. It has been just so wonderful to have you here. This is such a great conversation, and I feel like we could like do a couple of these. We're gonna have to have you back to chat more about what you've got going on. I do want to remind everyone, check out the links in the description because we do have the link to your art gallery and your showings that you have and some of the different articles and things you've got and your Instagram so people can go follow and see the actual art and enjoy it. And I do just want to thank you so much for joining us. Alicia, do you have any final questions or thoughts that you want to pop in with?
I was going to say, I love what you're doing, and we will be visiting the Vedica Art Studios very soon and making some content.
Definitely.
Yes, thank you for joining us on this podcast. What you're doing is amazing. Me and Haley definitely resonate with that type of mindset, and this has been such a conversation, and we welcome you back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Haley and Alicia. It has been a pleasure having a conversation with you both, and especially the questions that you are asking are very much, relevant to the people. Like it's not only the artist, but also as a viewer of or appreciating the artworks. These are the elements that we do need to talk about, and you have been great, in terms of the conversations that you have had today. So I will be very happy to come back and like we can discuss more about several topics going forward. Yeah.
I'm thrilled. It has been wonderful chatting with you. Thank you so, so much for joining us. Thank you everyone who joined us in the comments and all of the folks who are going to be watching this later. We do appreciate your support. And certainly again, Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Haley, and thank you, Alicia. Yeah.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.